Right. I'm really hoping the screen is like you can see it right now. Uh, I tried to use OBS last time to like pre-record a video, but well, the frame rate was really bad. So I'm like gonna live stream this and then post it to YouTube eventually. Right. Hold on, is this on? No, it's not changing at all. Okay. Sorry if I blast your eardrums out. I'm just watching a little indicator at the bottom of my screen. But anyway, right. Welcome to the event recap for the Orlando Maker Faire Robot Ruckus that took place from the 9th to the 10th of November. I'm probably just going to sort of talk about what went wrong, what went right, just kind of how the event went, and hopefully have some fun. Well, fun. Right then, let's get started. So, all right. So first fight of the day. I already did like what I did to change the robots earlier, so you can go watch that video if you want to see what I was doing with this version of the robot. See what I was trying to do. Anyway, right. First fight. My first fight of the day was against a robot called Erratic, which I fought at my last event actually, and well, I beat them at that last event pretty handedly, and that was my plan here, was to do the same thing, which was try and go weapon to weapon, try and get around and hit the wheels. That was kind of what my plan was. Yeah, we just gets to where the fight starts. So I spin up. Using a new bar here. Honestly, the bar looks very beautiful when it's spun up to speed, I think. I'm proud of that. So yeah, go up and up. Nothing really much to say, just kind of... I'm kind of trying to be gentle and not like hit a wall by accident, which would really suck. So yeah, another hit there. Everything's going pretty well for me. Not much damage happening. And then right there, Erratic, I think, landed a perfect shot on the weapon bar. I mean, the weapon motor, which dinged in the bell and locked it up completely and just killing the weapon. Which really sucked because I was doing pretty well up until that point. So I'm kind of like confused for a bit. I'm trying to like I'm looking down at my remote trying to figure out what's wrong. I'm like flicking the stick up and down, thinking like I've reset something. I'm not sure. And I'm just so I kind of figure out the weapon's dead at kind of like this point. I'm like fussing with it, still nothing's happening. So at this point, I'm like, screw it, and decided to start ramming him because I'm hoping that somehow that'll break something with the dead weapon or like get jammed in there and like I don't know, lock him up. I'm not really sure what my plan was, to be honest. Yeah. So I tried. My plan now is to like get around to the back and try and push him around, which I do. I do a pretty good job here of like getting him behind, trying to push him around. Still trying to like get around to the back and ram him. Just trying to show aggression at this point, really. And my weapon just comes flying off. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the shaft snapped on the motor, which normally this particular motor, that doesn't happen. I've used that silver motor, like variants of it at many different events, and it has never failed like this. It has never, like, the shaft has never snapped. That's never been like a reason for the motor to fail. Usually, if it ever breaks, it's because it like I don't think it's like ever actually stopped working. That's the thing. I'm actually can't really think of a time it's just stopped working. And so yeah, this wasn't good. And at this point, I'm still thinking I might have a chance to win. or I don't know. It's only like I think like about a minute of the fight left, so I'm thinking I can maybe last to the judges and maybe he'll die before then. I don't know. So I'm now gonna try and ram him. Get flipped upside down. Everything's still going okay because I'm still driving. And right here, another thing happened is that one of the drive sides decides to die, which is the first time I've lost a drive side in like 3 events. It's been like a very like I'm being serious. Like it's been a long time since I've actually lost a side of drive. And this case is because the backside of one of the motors like came off, which really sucked because like that's also something that's never happened before. So now I'm down to like one side of drive and I'm trying to like awkwardly crab walk. And I pretty much know I've lost the fight at this point, but I don't want to give the guy or like I basically I want to show that I still have some fight left in me and I want to like force a judge's decision because I don't know. I think it's like a point of pride to say that I wasn't knocked out, even though there's really no point for me to keep fighting.
You got a wheel shot, one of those wheels is not working. He's hobbling across the arena like a guy in a cast on the foot tip.
Amazingly, Erratic doesn't like come in for the kill, which I think is because he didn't want to accidentally fling himself into the pit. Let's see. I'm like, yeah, I kind of suck at driving with one wheel. I land a good little deflection shot there. That was pretty nice.
3, 2, 1. This one goes to the judges. Who will they decide?
Yeah, that was not a good first fight. Like I said, a couple things broke in that match. I assumed I had brought like a second weapon motor though, because I kind of figured I'd be losing a couple over this event. Or at least I thought I'd just be losing like 1 or 2. I turned out I was like majorly underestimating how many spare motors I needed. Because, well, you'll see in the next fight, but not a good first fight for me. So I had to replace a drive side motor, and I gave like the weapon motor and the drive motor to the guy who beat me because that's what you do. And I got it all fixed in time, and I went on to my next fight against a squad called Sling Blade, which was another scalar kit, just like the first one. I forgot to mention this is a scalar kit. This one was also a scalar kit. And my plan was to try and do the same thing again, but this time try and avoid unnecessary, like try to avoid getting hit on the weapon. Maybe try to hit the wheels, trying to focus on those parts of the enemy's robot more. Let me just skip to the.
Robot carnage
as well. Land a good shot there. He goes flying and this goes I just carefully get out and reposition. He loses a drive side immediately because I think one of his motors backed off again like mine did. Land a good shot there. I think he still has a drive side going, so I have to keep hitting him. I am like trying to be as careful as I possibly can. I'm just, again, I do not want to like break myself, so. And I'm like starting to yell, hey, can he actually move? Because at this point he's just kind of stuttering along, and I assume what on his weapon's momentum, it's like vibrating him awkwardly forward. Like that wheel's locked up. That wheel I think is locked up as well. And so I land one final hit, which finally causes him to stop moving. And that, unfortunately, he also landed another hit at the same time on my weapon bell, on the weapon motor bell again, which destroyed this motor as well, which really sucked. I was like, oh, for crying out loud, because at this point I was out of spare. I think I was out of spare motors.
Oh, come on.
Another voice crack from me.
8. Sleep mate, are you holding up? 6, 5, 4, 3,
1. He tapped.
2,
Taps.
1. He tapped.
So yeah, I did win that fight by KO, which was at least nice. But yeah, I had to replace the weapon motor again. I think for this fight here, so at this point I kind of had to get a bit creative with fixing the robot. What I had to do was, with some help, I got like, because I had a couple of, I happen to have a couple of somewhat dead motors in my toolbox, and what we did was, I took the bell off some of them that were like somewhat wrecked. I had like a motor from an old event. Actually, it was that fight I had against Hellfire. The motor in that fight, the bell had come off, but it was still mostly intact. So I was able to take the bell from that fight and use it on this robot by just taking it off of the damaged stator and putting it on the stator of, I think, the motor I used in the last fight, or just a random stator I had lying around for the same motor. And the stator is like the thing that has like all the wires on it. That's just kind of, well, it's stationary, and the bell is the thing with the magnet that rotates around that. I was able to just kind of put together a new motor, which allowed me to get the weapon fixed for the next fight. And that next fight was against a robot called Fury by a cool kid named Steven. And I was feeling okay about this fight because he was an undercutter, and I'm very good against undercutters because on my robot there's really nothing for an undercutter to hit except for like the wheels and the weapon stack, which is, that's fine. So I was feeling pretty okay for this fight. So I was gonna like try and hit his weapon, try and disable it, then just gently chip away at his wheels or something, which was the plan.
2, 1, fight, robots, fight. Here we go. It's Fury versus Chlorine, 2 horizontal undercutters.
Landing a good couple hits. I get stuck on the wall here. I get flung over there. Spin up again. And I land I think he lands a good hit, but I also landed a good hit on him. That, like, we landed a hit. His weapon comes flying off. Unfortunately, it also causes my weapon to come flying off. And that means we are both completely weaponless now, which is an interesting situation to be in. And unfortunately, at around the same time, one of my drive starts to act up again. And I think what happened, I'm not sure because I haven't actually checked. What I think happened is, I think one of the wheels got like pushed in to like the side, and it caused like friction on that side. So I think it was like jamming up that motor. Let me see, actually.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
I'm obviously kind of upset at this. There's the weapon key. Oh wait, there's the weapon key as well, which is great. So yeah, you can notice I'm starting to crab walk because one of my drive sides decides to kind of die on me again. Yeah, which is not good. I try to brag my weapon stores because technically speaking, my motor is still on the robot because it was the shaft that had failed again in this fight. So the motor was still technically operational. It just there wasn't anything on it anymore, which was great. Anyway, we kind of get stuck on each other. I tried to run aggressive, even though my drive side decides to die again.
Oh, shoot.
Trying to awkwardly remain aggressive. Yeah, it does suck. Yes, honestly, it starts to devolve into a really. You can see, like, I'm trying to when I'm trying to go backwards, it's like jamming up as well. So now my other side of the drive is starting to lock up for some reason, and I'm still honestly not sure why. I assume both sides just got jammed somehow. Like, I'm just guessing that the wheels got pressed in on that massive hit somehow, and that meant they couldn't move that freely. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why the drive was acting up in this fight. I assume they just got shocked or something. I really don't know.
Yeah, that's a new one. I have not seen that before.
Yeah, honestly, the rest of this fight is just really depressing to watch because they're just neither of us can really do much to each other because the philosophy behind this design is the weapon shouldn't break, and so you don't have to put you do not have to devote much power into the drive system or your the rest of the robot's design just in case your weapon dies because your weapon isn't supposed to die. So when the weapons die on these robots, you kind of get an awkward shoving match for a minute.
I think my gearbox are jammed. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'm really. This is just getting wheels to really
Hey,
dying.
turn the throttle on and see if it helps you drive. Maybe the gyro will cancel it out a little.
No, that seems to be making it work.
Okay, never mind then.
8, wait, hold on. 14, 13, 12, 11,
Yep,
10,
Florian is pretty much dead at the end because I can literally barely move.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And he ends up on top of me. We're performing an awkward hug. So yeah, weapon flew off again, which really sucked because that was also I think my literal last spare. So, right. So after this, I had no more spare weapon motors, so I had to enlist the help of the rest of the Gator BattleBots team in order to get the robot fixed for day 2. Adam, who's the guy who runs Hellfire and also Temporal Terror, who was also at this event, and is also just really cool. He offered to go and get some what was it? Some spare weapon motors we had in our warehouse that we have. They weren't the exact same type, but I really didn't care. I could get away with pretty much anything. And he had a bunch. He had a couple. We had a couple of these slightly smaller motors called the 2306s, Eco 2 Maxes, I believe. Actually, I have the motor right here. Well, one of them. Eco 2 series, yeah. We had a couple of those lying around, literally 2, and he brought them. He offered to go get some for me from the team warehouse, and I also another guy on the team, the team kind of captain, Brooks. He offered to 3D print some new weapon keys because these motors have a different hole pattern on the top, and because of that, I needed to make a new key so that the weapons would actually fit and stay snug on the actual motor. And it was a multi-person effort, and I modeled a new key when we got back to the UF, to the dorms. I modeled a new key within an hour. I sent it to both Adam and Brooks. They 3D printed a bunch of keys for me, and Adam brought the motors. And at the event the next day, I rushed a little to get the motors ready for the robot and put on some bullet connectors, attached it to the robot, and I was ready to go again. Within about 2 hours within arriving, Florian was pretty much ready to go. I had also I'd also brought a spare chassis that also had some drive motors ready to go in it. It was actually the chassis from the last event I went to with the old set of drive motors, which I knew still worked. And because I wasn't sure exactly what had caused the problems with the drive in the last fight, I decided to switch to that one just in case, because I knew those worked. And so on day 2, they were running like a type of tournament where every single robot would get 3 fights, and then after that, they would be seeded into a single elimination bracket. And if you did well enough, you got in, but if you didn't, you, well, didn't. And unfortunately, my strength of schedule was really terrible. And so, unfortunately, I got rank 36 out of 32, which really sucked. And I was really bummed out and kind of really annoyed because, like, a lot of people had helped me get the robot back in working order, and I wouldn't even be able to like show off what like a lot of people put in the effort to help me with my robot to get it working, and I wouldn't even be able to like fight anyone else like in the tournament, which I don't know, it's just kind of a bummer. I mean, I get it, but it was still kind of a bummer. However, I was thankfully able to get a grudge match in. I was hoping to get more than one, but I managed to get like they're running grudges, and it took them a while to get to running the grudges. In my opinion, it took a bit too long. I think they had like a system like they started doing grudges at like the 3rd round of the elimination fights, because that's usually when they had like breaks. But there was like a good couple I think there was like a good like 30 minutes or so when they weren't running fights, when they had like lunch, that I was hoping to get a grudge in, but I couldn't. Honestly, it's whatever. I did thankfully get a grudge at I did manage to get at least one grudge fight, which was this one. Uh okay, quick backstory. So I wrote on the board. There was a board, and one of the opponents had like an open spot for fighting someone, and it was this robot called Bonk, spelled like, well, this. Is it by owner? I gotta fix that. Anyway, there was a robot called Bonk, and he was I think he was competing in like the rookie category. I think they called it gladiators or something. Anyway, he's a pretty cool dude. I can't remember what was his name again. Freaking Sam, that was it. So yeah, Sam, he's a pretty cool dude. He was kind of just hoping to get some fights in because he was out of the competition as well for the gladiators. His robot had like a swinging knife hand thing on like the front, so it was like a hand of a clock, I guess, which was a really cool design. And I honestly think it could do pretty well as a control bot for getting into weird locations and then like just flipping you across the arena. So we made plans to fight each other because grudge match, and I was gonna bring in my mini bot mouse for this fight, but literally as we were loading into the arena, I tried to turn on the mouse, but the mouse itself worked, but I don't think the remote had any power in it because I couldn't get it to move when I pushed the buttons. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the mouse in on this fight. It would have been beautiful. I would have loved that, but unfortunately, couldn't get it to work. Next time I'll be bringing extra like coin cell batteries so I can actually use it, so we can have mini bots, because I do want to use that mini bot again. It was glorious. Right. So actually, originally it was just gonna be me and Bonk fighting, but this robot called Red, who was built by Caden from the Kraken team, spelled Cayden, not the Caden I know, who's Caden. He's different. Anyway, he just showed up as we were loading in and said, "Hey, can we make this like a freeway match?" And we were like, "Sure." I was like, "Sure." Sam was like, "Sure, why not?" And so we decided to have like a quick little mini rumble, which was completely unexpected. But honestly, I was like, "Screw it, let's have some fun," because I was hoping to, I don't know, get a win, at least put in a much better performance than my last 3 fights were, and this is the result of that. Weird blur. Trying to get to the start of the fight. Here it is. Right. Here we go.
2, 1. Hey, let's go. So this is a spinner versus defense. Oh,
That's what you're supposed to do.
I will kind of avoid the spinner of red and just kind of hit things and hope I remained operational. I think at that point, red launched himself into this hit window. Yeah, I can't really see this angle. Yep, I think red is stuck in the pit at this point. So I'm now just going to focus fully on Bonk. And, you know, Bonk is admittedly kind of a... He was kind of beat up, and he also didn't have a proper horizontal wedge attachment. So, I basically just tried to be careful and avoid him, like, sniping my motor. And again,
Florine's on the hunt. I'm pretty sure Florine might be the aggressor in this whole arena.
yes, I am the aggressor in this whole arena.
Don't tell anybody else.
Let a good hit there. Kind of get stuck. Now I'm upside down, which is a bit annoying, but I managed. He's also hopping around like mad. I think he said he was like improvising. The guy who drove Sam, and he's like improvising at this point. Which, so as he was jumping around, I tried to position myself so he would land on top of me, which I think I did a couple times. Yeah, it's hard to see because this is annoying post.
Hit the wall.
Land a good shot there, spin up. Careful. I'm gonna mean trying to be careful. And a good hit there. His wheel comes off. Oh, good hit there. Again, I'm just being careful. Oh, red actually managed to escape from the pit somehow. And so he's coming up behind me. I quickly turn around, land a shot. He lands a hit there.
1 minute.
So now I have to go focus on red because he has a spinning weapon. Spin up, land a hit there. I think that killed him partially. Oh, no, he's still going. Lose a side drive there. He loses a side drive because like the gearbox stripped. I kind of land another hit there. And now he's completely dead. So I go back to focusing on Bonk. Robot starts to act a little strangely around this point. I think because I'm running out of power. I honestly am not too sure either what's causing this. I think it's because the drive motors are maybe slightly dead, or maybe like because I think this. Because I remember this particular drive ESC I was using was kind of old. It had been through, I think, 3 events at this point, so it was starting to kind of show its age. So I think this was some early signs the ESC was starting to slowly die, or is the battery? Because like I know, like you'll see.
Joey, I do believe Florine taking off.
There goes his weapon arm. Land a good shot there. At this point, the robot stops moving.
Are you dead? I think I might.
Is Florine dead?
Come on.
Weapon is now like, so I'm kind of futzing with the remote because the robot just dead
Come on,
stopped.
come back to life, buddy.
So I shut the weapon off and kind of wait a couple seconds, and like then I just kind of fiddle with the weapon again, go full throttle, go empty. I think I turned off the remote and turned it back on, and I think something in that, I think shutting off the weapon allowed me to finally start driving again, so I drove towards him.
Let me see your victory lap, Florine, in the middle, show full mobility. I see.
So I'm like testing the robot at this point. I turn on the weapon and then suddenly I can't drive anymore when the weapon's on. So I'm like, oops, shut it off.
Let's call the fight for the winner, Florine!
Oh, that's what happened at the end.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like what had happened at the end was a combination of like a low battery, but that doesn't really make sense because I'm 90% sure I charged it to full at the end, at like before this fight. And I think it might have been just that the ESC I was using was just like on its last legs, and that somehow caused weird electrical issues that the weapon being on and it couldn't run. I honestly don't know. But point is, I checked the robot afterwards. Everything seemed fine. I kind of assumed it was just a battery thing, so I decided to switch to a bigger battery for this last fight, which I was hoping would solve the issue. So this is the rumble for the ant weights, and the filming might be kind of bad here because Brooks was filming. There were like, I think technically there were 16 robots fighting all at once in this particular fight, and that meant that filming was really difficult, like really difficult. So poor Brooks had to like raise the camera up above his head and try and get a good view of a good view of the fight. And I think he tried his best, bless him. But like there was, like, I'm not kidding, there were like 16 robots. There was one fairy weight though, so technically 15 and a half. Oh jeez. Oh god, it starts like immediately. So yeah, he's trying. He's really trying. There's Florine like right over there hiding next to Scalar X, who you can't see. But I had no strategy other than maybe spin up and try and stay out of all the chaos and try and like pick him off at the end. This didn't work at all. So I spin up, kind of go for. I'm kind of like just looking around for someone to kick. I try and remember. I think I hit Viper King, but you can't see because. Oh, there I am. And there's Bonk again. I go after that guy. That's Viper King. Lands a good hit on me. I land a good shot on that weird Viper Kit, and there goes my weapon again. And I also get flipped over.
My weapon came off.
And my drive side dies again. Same drive side. And I think a couple things are gonna happen. I think the drive initially dying like this is because the back of the motor came off again, which is annoying. But at this point, I'm just kind of driving, trying to remain somewhat functional and try and be just a nuisance at this point because this is a rumble. Like this is like a big rumble, so it's just like it's kind of balls to the wall, chaos, epicness. Like there's a bunch of robots that are dead already.
Come here.
Brooks is really trying. I feel so bad for him. Yeah, honestly, just me trying to drive.
Oh, come on.
I think at this point I get stuck in the pit by the Cheesy Doom guy. Cheesy Destruction, that's the one. Which is annoying.
I'm stuck in the pit.
Brooks tries to... Yep, there I am in the pit. Yep, I'm kind of stuck on the pit.
Then my drive motor died again. I think it got pinned, or maybe the back came off. If I have a back, I spare. I'm probably gonna replace it when I get back home. You can like hit the pause button. That's what you like on the left.
Okay.
I tell Brooks to hit the pause button so he doesn't have to film the entire getting all the dead robots out. I get, thankfully, a new lease of life, and I get shoved back into the arena to continue hobbling around like a, I don't know, drunk or I don't know whatever. So, yeah. Another nice voice crack by me. Until they get sent to the pit again.
You're getting in the wall, boy.
So at this point, I'm stuck in the pit, I think, with Scalar X, who's like a pretty big deal. They're like, because they're like, they're like the normal Scalar kits you see with like the 2 wheels and the horizontal spinner, but they don't have wheels. They have like walkers, like a shuffling mechanism. And that means they get extra weight, which is great. And they're currently hitting me. and I can't really maneuver well because I'm in the pit and also only have one wheel. So normally I'd be being hit on like the front or something, but they could hit me like in the back, like directly on the TPU chassis, which is not designed to take hits. And I could see them; they were carving through it like butter, which was not good.
Yeah, my chassis is in there.
1 minute. 1 minute.
So yeah, things aren't going well. Everyone is still killing each other. It's great.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do commentary right now because I'm literally stuck. Let's see. The same spinner is doing amazingly. Yeah, I'm still stuck there. Let's see.
And now I'm trying to do commentary because I have nothing else to do, and I'm failing miserably because I am not good at commentaries, like at least live commentary. Live in person, I mean live at the event commentary. Right now, I can do it okay because I have knowledge. I'm shocked, honestly, still that how many of the robots were still working at the end.
A lot of people stuck in the corner.
Let's get it down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. At the end, I think I did manage to escape at the very end. I managed to escape the pit, and I could maneuver myself to the center of the arena. I obviously didn't win the Rumble, but I don't think really anyone wins Rumbles. So yeah. After this fight, I opened up when I got the robot back. I noticed that it smelled really badly, which was concerning. And when I opened it up, turns out I had actually also burnt out the drive speed controller. At least one side of it had kind of exploded. Actually, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm not going to be able to switch cameras because it might like black out the screen, and I really don't want to have to deal with that again. But it might be hard to see, but you can see that the drive VSC for this fight was burnt. Like there's a hole burnt in it. And like, it burnt for the plastic on that side. I see, yeah, this drive controller is completely dead. Which I'm kind of surprised. I think what I assume happened is the back of the motor, I think this came off first, and then this part, I think then the drive failed. Like the ESC itself actually failed because I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm not really sure why. It just feels like that. And also, I can't actually get this wheel off the robot because I think the shaft got bent and it just will not come off. So that's great. Here's the chassis as well. Might as well show it because I have it out. Got a nice vertical slice taken out there. Got nice zipper. Got this part kind of delaminated. Yeah. This chassis is obviously being retired along with pretty much everything here. I will say I'm impressed the wheels lasted all my fights, considering I only had one pair. But yeah. Yeah, that was kind of it. Like, that was the event. I have like robot is I got the robot fixed within like an hour because I did have like one other spare motor, and I also had the chassis, the original chassis for this event, which I tested before I put everything back on. I like put all the electronics in, and I actually tested the Christ, what's the name? I tested the thing, and both of the drive motors seem to work. So, oh, I also almost forgot to mention for I think the last 2 fights. Let me check. Let me fact check myself. Oh dear, no. Okay, I think. Never mind. I think only for like the last fight, I decided to put on this front shield, which I've had this thing in my toolbox for like almost a year, I want to say. Like it's like a protector for like the motor so that it doesn't take hits, which ironically would have worked amazingly if I'd remembered to use it in like my first couple of fights, but I never used it even though I had it because at the time I made it, I didn't think I had the weight to actually run it because the rest of it was kind of really unoptimized and really heavy in areas it didn't need to be. But over time, I've lightened the robot in key areas, so I have had the weight to use that front shield. I just kept forgetting to use it, which that's a mistake I paid dearly for. As you saw here. So yeah, I decided to run that for like the last fight, and I mean, the weapon flew off again, but I was able to recover the actual, I think the cam, not the cam, the bell for the motor, and that was still intact, and I was able to keep that. What else was there? Something else that not many people noticed is that I actually had put on an I voted sticker onto the robot, kind of just as a mostly because I could not think of anything else to put on the robot. Like the stickers I have with me are all kind of too big and too awkward to put on like the top because there's already like a lot of coloring on it. I did put on like a build fight fun sticker at the bottom because, well, duh. Look, I thought it kind of made sense. So yeah, I had the robot ready to fight again within an hour, and I was really hoping I was able to squeeze in one last grudge match. Unfortunately, I did find someone who was willing to fight. This kid named Evie, I think. Yeah, that was her name. She had a robot called Midnight Song. It was like a lifter, and they were willing to fight me. She and her father, but we got our robots ready to go. Unfortunately, when we came up to go and ask a grudge match, they were already running a grudge match, and also, right as we were lining up to like fight again, they decided to finally start doing the award ceremony, which was really, really unfortunate timing. So, and like the award ceremony started like 4:35, like 25 minutes left to go till the event ended, and it ended up lasting like a pretty much a full 25 minutes, which it felt just really, it just kind of went on and on and on when it really didn't need to. And so by the time it finally ended, there was just no. It was 5 o'clock, so we and the event was closing, so we could not fight, which really sucked. So we settled the score with a quick rock paper scissors things, which I lost. So technically, I'm gonna give her the victory there, but I'm really hoping I can get a chance to actually properly fight them at an event in the future because that'd be fun. But yeah, that ends the event. Not my best, like at all. The pretty much constant weapon issues were a bit of a downer. I think part of it was I was using a new bar for this event, which was which was a little longer and a little heavier than the old weapon, the old bar. And I think that, along with just the caliber of opponents at this event, like everyone pretty much brought their A game. I think that like just killed me. Like I think the lack of protection on the motor. I know if I had actually put like a shield on or made the hub like wrap around the entire motor instead of just key into like the bottom of the motor or top, depending how you see it. I'm pretty sure if I had like a shield, I would have at least won my first fight, and I probably would have won the second fight. Definitely would have won the second fight without losing my weapon, which that in turn would have probably allowed me to win that third fight. Which, I mean, it's kind of thing you look back on and kind of hit yourself in the face, thinking like I should have done this, but like I really should have done that. But the fact that the weapon like shaft, the motor shaft kept sheared with the motor I normally use, not the Eco ones, which happened in the Rumble, but the fact it happened with the motor I've used for so many events and never had an issue with, I think I've kind of hit the wall in terms of what this weapon motor I'm using can take, like mechanically, like with in terms of stress. So I think I've decided that I'm probably gonna need to change tactics and switch to a completely different weapon system. I need to overhaul what I have right now. And what I'm probably going to do is I actually kind of have I think I have like a plan. What I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch from the motor I'm currently using to, let me find it. It's on hub here. Hub motor. Where's dagnabbit? Feature categories. Yeah, my butt parts. Give me a second. My plan is to direct drive motor, edge pipe motor. It's taking a while. I think this is it. It's this thing. It's a Antweight hub motor. Like a proper actual hub motor, not like the weird one I'm using with like the what was it called? I'm blanking. Where I just kind of, the way I have my weapon motor right now is I take a motor with like a threaded shaft, put the weapon on, then put like a nut on it to hold it all together. It's normally not what you do. You normally do something like this is like a proper hub motor, like where the motor, like the weapon goes around the motor itself and you screw it on. And I'm trying to see. It's a bit heavy, I'll admit. It's pretty heavy. It's like about 20 grams heavier than the current weapon motor I'm using. But this is really the only like solution I can think of to the problem I'm having with the current weapon motors, with the shaft just coming off. What this does mean is I'm gonna have to like redesign a lot of, like, at least redesign the way the weapon bars, because well, they have to fit on this thing. And I'm also gonna have to make them lighter, like quite a lot lighter. And I think if I manage to pull that off, I will solve the issue of the weapon shaft shearing or breaking due to, I think, bending or something. And if I can do that, I can probably start winning fights again. Well, and I say again, but I can start like not having to worry about the weapon flying off on big hits, because this can, I know, take that load. Again, the problem is this is pretty heavy. It's quite a bit heavier than M3 16 inches. Hold on, let's check here. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, the one problem again is this is heavy, and I'm gonna need to make a couple of sacrifices. Like I think an easy one is just gonna be making the weapon a bit lighter, and also making my top plate, which is carbon fiber, switching that to just something else that isn't carbon fiber, which is a bit dense. But I have to kind of like, again, I'm gonna have to spend some time kind of figuring out how all the parts are gonna fit together. But assuming I can pull this off, I think Florian is gonna step up to a new level of competitiveness, I think. And I'm hopeful that, again, I'm just hoping that I can get back to, I can evolve the robot a bit more and make it better, because that's what you do with this sport. But I might have to put this on hold for a bit because I do legitimately want to start working on a beetle weight. Like, finally bring back chloride, resurrect it, and purify it to become chlorine. And I have plans in the works. That's just gonna. I'm probably just gonna stick with like a basic horizontal spinner. I'm thinking of using the hub motor this guy also sells for beetle weights. Hub. I think he sells like a. Huh? I guess he doesn't. Might have been somewhere else. I don't know. I think it's like on some other guy's website, but there's like a beetle weight hub motor design out there that I'm probably just going to use that, make a horizontal with it, because there aren't really many horizontals in Florida. So I think I'd actually do somewhat okay because no one really prepares for horizontals. So if I can make something good, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll finally start winning some of those. Maybe I'll start winning some, I don't know, beetle weight trophies. That'll be nice. But for now, that was the event recap. I don't really have much else to say. I don't really know how to end these things, but I thank you all for watching. I guess I hope I was able to at least entertain some people with my performance at the events. I thank everyone there for running a good event. I thank all my competitors for putting on good fights, for being just amazing people. This sport continues to be just, I love it. I just thanks for making this sport so wonderful. And I will hopefully see y'all later with bigger and better things. This is Darren Carlade of Team Halogen Robotics signing off for now.